You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Ladies and gents, thank you for checking out Truth on Tap. This is Kevin Kierstead, your host. I encourage you to interact and chat and call into the show. You can Skype in with mr.kevin.kierstead, that's K-I-E-R, stead as in steady, or call in to 910-NO-LYING. It's 910-665-9464. Truth on Tap delivers news and views with one core principle in mind, truth. This show brings that like nobody else. The real truth about news, paranormal sightings and research, politics, religion, and focuses mostly on human behavior in those areas. You can listen to shows in Spreaker, iHeartRadio, or even from the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/truthontapshow. For Spreaker, it's www.spreaker.com/user/truthontap. Or for iHeartRadio, you can go to www.iheart.com/talk/show/truth-on-tap. That's a mess. That's a lot to remember. Just Google Truth on Tap and you'll be able to find all the ways you can listen to this wonderful show, which is wonderful because of you, the listeners and participants. Thank you again for checking out Truth on Tap.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Opening up the truth pipeline for these bitches.
Truth on Tap. Truth.
My right to say how I say it's mine to give. My heart is mine to share. My soul's my
Truth on Tap.
invite to use. Just the wish to use. Chop it up and recombine. Chop it up and
Truth
recombine.
on Tap.
Truth on Tap. Truth on Tap. That's what Wes Johnson said. I'm going to agree with him. Did you know, and right off the top of the head, no notes, no scripts, Truth on Tap show, Kevin Kierstead, the host, talking fast today, got to get through it. Did you know that historically, the studies have suggested that when someone speaks with a deeper voice, he or she is seen as more authoritative on a subject and is thereby, or maybe not thereby, maybe in a disconnected way, more likely to give credence to what is being said by the person with the deeper voice. Might as well go ahead and give credence to what Wes Johnson said. This is Truth on Tap. Your host is Kevin Kierstead. It's a silly little radio show that will sometimes brain fuck you. Doggy style. Oh, get the kids out of the room. Just because it's daytime doesn't make this a clean show. We tell the truth here, and sometimes I don't know. You gotta flame the heat a little bit, or stoke the flame, if you will, to get the truth across. There's an artistic element to truth. Did you know that? It's not all black and white. Because truth is truth is based upon perception, and the focus of the show that I do is to try to break through some of the varying perceptions out there so that we're all on the same page. There are not a lot of things out there that can be proven. Did you know that? What is proof? I mean, what, convincing evidence, most likely to be true? That's really where we are, isn't it? We want to know what's most likely to be true, because if you're smart at all, you know that there's not a lot of fact in the universe. Not yet. Not that humans know. Sure isn't. Just saw an astronaut last night, said, you know what we know about outer space? We know nothing. All right, I'm paraphrasing, but he said we know shit. We know nothing. We have just walked into a dark room with our encounters in outer space and lit a match. We don't know what's going to show up in the corners. We have no earthly idea. So why is it that you, the average news-reading, story-consuming human, believes that we're something special? What if, maybe it's depressing to acknowledge the reality, what if we did acknowledge that we don't know a whole lot about anything? Maybe it would speed the pace of learning and the efforts to get learning done. Maybe it would bring us a visual acuity that you can only get through resetting your reference when you're applying your filters to the information coming into your mind. How accurate is your truth? Most people have a system of beliefs. How we got there, I'm not going to talk about. It's too varied, too wide in scope. But what happens is once they get that system of beliefs in place, they seek to defend them. Why do you do that? Don't do that. Seek to have accurate beliefs. That comes from continuing to expose information. Some you'll be comfortable with, some you may not. That's the nature of the human animal. The human manimal, we are broken. I say broken because it has a certain ring to it, but what I should say if I wanted to be more accurate is unrefined. Unrefined. If you were to compare the human now to the human if he exists in 10 million years, we would look worse than the Neanderthal, intelligence-wise, looks now. What, we think we understand the definition of transcendentalism, so we can make the Neanderthal feel like an idiot? What do you think those people in 10 million years are going to make us feel like? Hopefully they will have, I hate to use the word evolved, it's a tricky word. Let me put a little note here in the beginning to say, when you look at a standard evolution poster, you are given an illusion. The illusion is that we're becoming something bigger, better, faster, stronger. We're not. We're adapting. Adaptation should replace in your mind evolution if you want to be accurate, because any creature that cannot adapt to its environment dies. It dies. What's left over, seen in this strobe light effect you get on your average evolutionary poster, gives you the illusion that there is a change happening, that this change is reaching toward an end. It is not. All you're seeing is the messy leftovers of when that angry bitch called Mother Nature sweeps through of who survived. And they survived because they adapted. That's all, nothing else. Doesn't get any more easy than that. Write it down. Put that shit on a note, tuck it under your pillow. It'll help you see the world in a more accurate light. Prisoner swaps. My God, the politics of prisoner swaps has always been matter of much scrutiny and argument. Always has been, always will be. Did you see how many times the Bush administration did prisoner swaps? You didn't? You should probably look that up. A few hundred. A few hundred. Supposedly very bad guys for our own guys. What's happening here? What's happening? You know, if you've listened to my show 5 times in the past, you know what I'm going to tell you already, don't you? But I'm going to give you details and I'm going to give you evidence. The people that want to hate Barack Obama are doing it. And they're doing it with new fuel now. Oh my God, we've released some bad guys back into the system to get one guy, and here's the fucking kick in the nuts, to get one guy who might not be worthy of our efforts. He's a deserter. 2 things here. Let's explain the difference between what you do in a prisoner swap versus what you do when you're voting for someone. There is a court of law atmosphere in a prisoner swap. We do not assume the innocence or guilt of Bergdahl and what he did. What we do is we get American prisoners back. Now, let's stop here for a second, because I know some of you guys are already thinking, he's defending the administration. I'm actually not. I actually think this may have been a bad move. I'm not afraid to call something what it is when I see it, if we can define what it is. Way too many people out there think they know what everything is, and you don't. We don't. It's a sad thing. Do you want to be misled in a way that leaves you with an answer that's incorrect but you believe in? Or do you want to learn in a way that leaves you with less answers but a more accurate view of reality? I will take the latter 7 days out of any week. And I do. I do. You don't hear it on a lot of shows. You get these premises that everything's based on, you know, and there is the hypocrisy makes me want to vomit. Your average top-tiered radio host, take your top 5. You start off with your Limbaughs, your Glenn Becks, and your Sean Hannitys. And what you get is someone who walks away from the studio and goes and breaks some number of rules that he pretends are the rules that he lives by off of the show and on the show. And it's sickening to me. Practice what you preach. It's cliche. We hate cliche, but goddamn it, do it. It just pisses me off. There's not one major radio show host I know that likes to come on and tell accurate truths. What they like to do is they have a belief system in place, and they go and they arm themselves with information that will support those beliefs. What someone who is more honest will do is not arm themselves with anything. They will go out and find what is the most accurate and present it. That's all. That's all. Doesn't always serve their system of beliefs. I have a working truth. I have a system of beliefs that's a working truth that is malleable. It will change with the discovery of new information. And in the case of a prisoner swap, I don't want to see 5 semi-dangerous Taliban guys go for one U.S. prisoner unless there was no other way to do it. This was rushed. The biggest problem with this deal is it was rushed. It didn't go past anybody. We needed some people to look at this and say, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Can we get some analysts in here, some smart guys and girls, and calculate what the risk is here? Or is there another way? If these 5 Taliban leaders pose any real threat, all right, Qatar's dog leash notwithstanding, if they pose any real threat to Americans abroad or local, then we need to take a second look at this on how we can get our guy back. How come we send special forces team in to rescue one prisoner while we give 5 bad guys up to get another prisoner? Something to think about. What I don't like is that it's being used politically, and I'm going to warn you of something. If you're liking this because you're on the far right and you find a new reason to slam Obama, okay, I could understand that. This is definitely chock full of the right ingredients to slam Obama. However, be careful, because there are 2 things at work here. One is, do you know your history on prisoner swaps? I'm guessing you don't. Not a lot of us focus on that. Learn your history of prisoner swaps. Learn how many of them have happened and under what conditions, and you'll be surprised. Second thing is this. Be careful, because all of your major Republican leaders right now, and Tea Party favorites, could be setting themselves up for a serious punch in the face. You may find out that the Obama administration is prepping for something. All right, picture this. You got to use your imagination a little here. What if it turns out that when we release the documents, or we have a leak, a conveniently placed leak, turns out we were going to set these 5 free anyway, based on new laws that we had passed, and that we got Bergdahl for free? First, what you do is you don't tell, if you're the administration and you want to set this trap, you don't tell anybody that. You just do the deal. Next thing you know, what happens? 2015 comes along. A leak happens. You find out these prisoners were going to be let loose anyway. You find out that Qatar did have a good plan to keep tabs on them and to keep that choke chain very tight. You find out that there was no legal way we could have kept them anyway. But the administration was very wise and said, we can get a prisoner for these guys we're going to let loose anyway. Let's get him. Okay, now here's the problem. From the mid-2014 to late 2015, you've had everybody on the right come out swinging. And now the administration is providing evidence that they were all wrong. Oh, they wanted to have committees, didn't they, like Benghazi? If 1 or 2 or 3 committees doesn't get the president to an impeachment hearing, let's do 4, 5, and 6. Do you see the rabid anger that's coming from the far right toward anything that Obama does? They've admitted it before in the news. We will oppose anything he offers. Does that sound like an American government that is working for your interest? Does it? And that's okay with you. As long as you don't like Obama, that's okay with you. He's the problem, isn't he? He's the splinter that needs to be ejected. Well, some portion of your voting public that was the greatest proportion put him in office twice. So what you're saying is, I disagree with the majority of voting America that this man should be in office. And what bothers me more than anything about that is not the black thing. Yes, there's a shitload of racists out there that pretend they hate him for a different reason. What bothers me most about this is that there is a banner of patriotism that is swung in front of this racism or hatred of the left, whatever you want to say, instead of accurately weighing an administration's progress. Look, go ahead. Let's see how mature you are, listener. If you're on the right or even in the center right, I would like you to look up and learn the top 20 positive things that the Obama administration has done. If you hate them, you're not going to look that up. If you are someone who is a fan of information that's accurate, you're going to look it up. If you haven't already, I don't know why you wouldn't have already. You've got to know the good and bad about any administration. You have to, if you want to be accurate. But chances are, if you hate them, you got the hatred, which is a nasty virus. Then you don't want to hear that shit that he's done good. You don't want to hear that shit the administration's done good. And the most disappointing thing about all of this is people have completely blown out of proportion the powers of the executive branch. The president is not much more than a face on the front of a cereal box. Really. He doesn't have a lot of power. And he has been pushing to expand the office of the president and the presidential power to get it back to something like a third. It's been far less than that since the Nixon years. That's just my observation. But what people think is the president is everything. The president is not where the gears are turning. Where the gears are turning is where money is and where Congress is, and the interaction between the two. You should have no confusion about that. Maybe that'll change 20 years from now in America. Okay? But that's where it's happening right now. You want to know where gears turning, where legislation comes from? You're looking at money and Congress and the interaction between the two. That's all. The president is a signature. The judicial branch is almost subject to the terrible effects of human perception. Who gets appointed here? Who decides what there? Let me ask you this. In this country, let's say you're going to court. You're going for a felony. You didn't even know you committed it, but you did. Okay? It was a tax thing, I guess. Would you agree with me that what happens to you could depend on the judge you get on a given day? Could be the same judge on a different day, getting you different results. Would you agree with that? Would you agree with that? The jury selection process, if it's a serious hearing, can affect the outcome of your trial? And you tell me, is that fair? Does that sound like justice to you? What judge you get on what day? What jury you get and how carefully they're selected? That's not justice. That's not uniformity. That is fucking random chance based on human mood. That's all that is. Deciding your fate. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that we even take it seriously. And if the judicial branch is so subject to mood, let's just call it mood. I don't want to get any more scientific than that. And circumstance. And the executive branch is already in a corner. They don't have a lot of power. Then where are you finding your power? Where are you finding your power? There's only one more leg of this government. You look at money, and you look at how money is buying law. That's where you look, because that's what's happening. Sad thing. So when it comes to prisoner swaps, how do we feel about letting 5 potentially terrible guys go to get one that we don't view as such a great guy? That's the problem. That's where we're broken. We are not looking at this from the legal standard that it has been looked at for centuries now in American history. You do not trade prisoners based on how much value you ascribe to one prisoner and his choices, you get him home. Once he signed up and showed up in wartime, and the worst thing he may have done is walk off of a base, you get him home. You don't start ascribing a value to what he's done for America based on the fact that he walked out of a base. You can't do that. You don't know the details. That could have been PTSD from him having to shoot terrorists that were hiding in a mosque and ended up hitting a wedding party. You don't know what happened. So you're starting to say, well, I don't know. I think this guy wasn't worth it. Now, if we had, let's say we were going after let's say the guy who they based the story, and what was the movie that just came out with the special forces about the last guy, something like Last Guy Standing. Let's say he had been POW, and we're making a trade for him, and it turns out he had saved 500 Marines from total devastation through his heroic acts. Now, all of a sudden, you're looking at the 5 Taliban guys going, shit, maybe they aren't that big of a deal after all. More importantly, you reverse administrations, you put the Bush administration is, now if they think it's a good idea, well, I do too. Do you want people to do your thinking for you? That's what's happening when you hate an administration. Arm up, man. Get your facts straight, because you've got a terrible battle ahead of you compared to the person who takes facts at their face value while also digging in a little deeper behind the scenes to see how much value should really be put onto those facts. We tend to want to be led. It's a shame to me. It is the reverse of independence. It is voluntary programming. If you don't believe that, think of your favorite talk show host, if you like to watch the talk shows, especially on news. How much do you disagree with that host? Do you ever? You never disagree with them? Why? You know they're wrong about stuff. They even admit they're wrong about stuff. And you never disagree with them? So what you're doing is saying, here you go, Bill O'Reilly. I want you to put your ideas in my head, and I'm going to go become a ditto head. Does that sound anything remotely or vaguely like American freedom of choice and beliefs to you? What it sounds like to me is someone who has decided not to do their own thinking and insists that someone else do their thinking for them. And they go to that person nightly or weekly and they absorb that information and say, this is how I want to be. I'm going to spend my life defending your views, talk show person. If you believe everything I say is the gospel, you're broken, man. You're broken. You should be disagreeing with me on some shit based on evidence and nothing more. More than 500 Guantanamo detainees were released or transferred under Bush. We didn't hear a lot about that, did we? Did we? Did we hear a lot about it when Reagan essentially traded weapons for prisoners? Not really. Not really. Yeah, I mean, we had some hearings. Ollie North took the fall. I don't know. It's so sad when you change the party affiliation of an administration and then immediately watch the entire standard change. Well, that's my party. They could have done no wrong. Have you ever noticed how it's like family? You ever watch a mother and a father defend their kid regardless of what the kid's actions were? The kid fucking set the school on fire, and then as the people flew out, he shot them all with a water gun that was loaded up with, I don't know, how about some sort of acid, some sort of nasty acid that burns the skin. You'll have a parent go in there and say, well, he had been bullied. I hate bullies. I'm right beside you, Mom and Dad. I hate a goddamn bully. But you're going to somehow dismiss your kid's, well, no, he did a bad thing, but gosh darn it, he was bullied. You ever see how they'll do that? But if there's another kid across town that does that, and it never happens to that same set of parents, that kid and his parents should be put in jail for eternity. Ridiculous what we do when it's our family. Our family can do no wrong. Let me tell you something. Your family sucks just as bad as everybody else's family. It sure does. And your family can do wrong. That's for damn sure. Hurts, doesn't it? You don't want to believe that. but it's true. We've always wanted to defend from the smallest unit outwards. Caveman mentality. The people inside the cave, the people inside the area. Now, the people inside the town. Then the people inside the state versus other state. Then the people inside the country versus other countries. And finally, all the people in the world versus other worlds will come together when they have to defend. Have you noticed that? That is the broken manimal. In a nutshell. In a big fucking nutshell. It's like a coconut shell rather than a walnut shell. That's what's wrong with us. We are freakishly underdeveloped, ridiculously underdeveloped, very, very narrow-minded and narrow-sighted. Sometimes I'm ashamed to be a human. I was looking up some quotes earlier by Mark Twain as I was trying to look again at the difference between man and animal and look at that in some depth. And the truth is when you look at overall effects, we're worse than any animal. Look at what we've done to the planet. What we've done to ourselves in wars. What we've done, our worst criminals. And take a look at the animal kingdom. You might have a male grizzly bear come in and kill some cubs. You might have that with a male lion. And you say to yourself, that's just savage. Savage behavior. That's the difference between animals and man. And you already know what I'm thinking, so I'm not even going to say it. You already know what I'm thinking. So, moving on past that, we know where mankind stands in the grand scheme of things with regard to both moral standards and the proverbial goodness and the efficacy therein, because we're not that good. We do good when we're in the mood to do good, don't we? But when it comes to our family, we don't mind seeing bad done. If it defends our family, promotes our family, we don't mind if others fall, do we? You ever see a bus on fire? You got families on there? You know, the man and the woman in any couple. I got to get my kids off. I have to get my genes that have moved on to the next generation secured. Then I'll worry about saving others. Am I saying that what they should be thinking is, let's save everybody first? No, I can't say that that's natural. But the problem is that it's not natural. If we were perfect human beings like we like to believe we are, every person on that bus would have been just as important as everybody else. But they're not, are they? First, it's about me and mine. Me, I, mine. That's the focus of the human mind. First, myself, then others. And then, those that are the most selfless, that truly put themselves in front of the bullets of others, figuratively and literally, are the ones that disappear from the face of the earth, from the complexion of mankind. They're gone. They're gone. Their deed was beautiful. It'll live on in a book, but they're gone. So when I look at the complexion of mankind, I don't get to see them anymore. The heroes are dead. They're the first to go. We're what's left. Is that an accurate complexion? Are we giving enough credibility with June 6th coming up here? You know what happened on June 6, 1944, probably the greatest day in military American history. Thousands and thousands of Americans, Canadians, and British stormed the shores. We even had some Australians in there. And thousands lay dead. Thousands lay dead. And it was a certain point in history where the machinery was very, very tough and scary. And mankind's courage had to match it. We're passing that now, folks. Before, we had primitive man behavior with primitive man machinery. After, we'll have robots doing our work with advanced machinery. But here we had men still having to look into the eyes of their enemy, not from a drone camera, not with just carrying a slingshot, looking into the eyes of their enemy as their enemy manned an MG-44 machine gun nest that could cut through you like a hot knife through butter. Men who manned 88s, these guns that were 40 feet long, that would shoot a hole through you and the next 1,000 men behind you if you lined up. You'd look into their eyes. You'd throw the hand grenade. You'd break out the flamethrower, and you'd watch them burn. You'd call in the artillery and watch their body parts fly. And if you got caught, your limbs might be removed one by one until you gave enough information to the enemy. This is a time where man and machine crossed paths in the most personal way, starting June 6, 1944. What a beautiful moment that is. Oh, you act like you don't like war, but you do. Humans love war. You act like you don't want to see bloodshed, but for the right reasons, you don't mind it so much as long as it's out of your face. June 6th, 1944 is going to be a day that will forever be the icon of American courage in the face of warfare. Where we go from here with robots on the battlefield and drones running the sky and satellites running everything is anybody's guess how that's going to look 7,000 years down the road. But where it will never be, in my opinion, again, is where it was on June 6, 1944. What a beautiful thing. What a gorgeous thing that was. Let's go see if any of you bastards have found your way into the chat room. I see somebody there. Hello. Sunnyville Network says, save dying kittens. Sunnyville Network. No disrespect, but are you going to go to China and have them stop eating them? Because what the hell's the point of me saving dying kittens in America if China's breeding them for food? Hell, you might as well go to India and say, save dying cows. But don't go to America, because them motherfuckers over there be eating them by the hundreds of pounds. No, I'm not going to save the dying kittens. I'm sorry, Sunnyville. I'm sorry, Sunnyville Network. I'm not saving the kittens. I hope you do. I hope you do. But you may want to start off in China, where we got damn near a couple of billion people who, yeah, they don't mind. They don't mind eating them. NASA, spot the station, Kim says. What do we have here? What do we have? This International Space Station? Oh, yeah, you can see it in the sky. It's kind of boring. It is. It's just like a light in the sky. I don't know. I'm bored with that. I'm bored with that. Let's see what we have here. Just need to confirm that we are coming across on the show. We are. We do. We do. Let's turn that up. See how that sounds. Yeah. Okay. Now I got to find out. We're going to have a little fun here because fuck all this seriousness. Sometimes it's just. I live in a town of about 9,300 people, and you know what it's time for?
Traffic on the hour.
Well, it is the hour almost. 3 tractors and a truck outside. That's all. We're done. Well, we're done. That's it. Yeah, so let's go ahead, and I might just do an interview here. Yeah, I think I might do an interview here. But who's it going to be with? Who's it going to be with? It might be with a kid. It might be with an old lady. I do have some interviews coming up I need to ask you guys about. And that is that I have a listing on Radio Guest List. And that listing is attracting those who would want to come on the show as guests. And I don't just, I exercise the freedom of picking any of those guests I want to, but you know what the show does. You know what this show is interested in. Mostly human behavior, a few things outside of that. I also find comedy a perfect sideshow to what this show does because it tells so much truth in such a condensed format while giving you a little endorphin release. Who's that going to hurt, News issues here lately. The news lacks, doesn't it? 24-hour news coverage. Had a friend tell me yesterday it's probably the major problem with American civilization. Something has to be talked about all the time. But you know what's not talked about enough? Pi. P-I. You want to hear pi worked out to 15 cuss words past the decimal? Here
the following are the numbers of pi to 15 swear words after the decimal. 3.1 fuck, shit, cock, cunt, vagina, douchebag, asshole, cocksucker, motherfucker, piss bugger, twat, spanker, whore, wanker, jackass, and sperm.
Yeah, piss bugger. I don't know what a piss bugger is. Do you? Do you know what a piss bugger is? I don't know what a piss bugger is.
The nose knows.
What would happen if we had an alien crash? CNN might have something to say about it. Do you think so? They might say this.
Is CNN. Initial reports from the crash site indicate the extraterrestrial had no testicles.
You think? You think? I don't know. I'm just screwing around now. We're going to play with some sound effects. I might have some goodies for you coming up here. I might take a break. I might shit myself and fly out the window. The thing about the future is you cannot predict it. That's one of the great... How about hockey? Who's a Rangers fan? Who's an LA Kings fan? Are you ready? Oh, there it is. Who scored? Who scored? Turn that shit off. That's not really what an air horn sounds like. Not at a hockey game. We don't do it that long. God damn it. What is this? Uh-oh. Let me tell you what this is not. It's not my scooter. Not my scooter. Yeah, that's not my scooter. That's not my 49cc scooter. Not at all. It's not. It's Harley Davidson's. You guessed it. It's Harley Davidson's. Let's see what we have here. Oh, this is this woman, this robot woman who likes to argue with me. I don't think I'm going to talk to her right now because I'm really not in the mood. Really, really not in the mood for that. Yep. How about we do a couple little interviews? I like to talk to kids because they're so crazy honest. You remember that show? I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called Kids Say the Darndest Things. Yeah, this is an example.
Hey, Mom, Timmy's head fell off again.
Hey, Mom, Timmy's head fell off again. How does that even... Those words in that order may never be said again in all of the future of humanity. That's just crazy, isn't it? I asked a kid what he wanted to be when he grew up.
When I grow up, I want to be the president of a vagina.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Ask any gynecologist. You could... That's one Oval Office you want to stay out of. You understand? Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to...
Mom,
that
my
can be confusing.
penis is talking to me.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I'll be 7 years old, and I can fuck your shit up.
Yeah. Yeah, that was Bruce Lee. Well, he had it was through a translator. But yeah, that's what he said. Grandmas and grandpas are getting more honest these days. Remember how I don't know, I want to call them sterile they used to be about talking about anything that might be conceived as nasty. Now they'll just come out with it.
Honey, would you bring me a pair of socks for my titties?
That's right.
As you can see, youngin', I can use my balls for weapons.
Yeah, sure can. And it's
I don't really suppose you're in the mood to go down on me, are you? Have I shown you my
terrible.
balls today?
Hey, y'all crackers better recognize, son.
Excuse me. Uh-oh. There it goes. Y'all were waiting for that, weren't you? Yes, you were. Yeah.
Kids are fucking stupid today, you know that?
Yeah. Yup. You ever have one of those women that have been around, but they're... See, let me explain something to you, women. I'm perfectly happy in my relationship now, but that doesn't mean I cannot comment on this type of thing. Men want to believe that you're a virgin, even after they've been with you. Just stay a virgin. You're perfectly pure as the driven snow, okay? To help illustrate that for you, I'm going to show you some things that we would rather not hear you say. Here's some.
My God, I need an exorcist for my labia. Aren't you just adorable there with your little marble balls?
Yeah.
My vagina is in shambles.
Oh, no.
My God, that's your penis? I thought it was a pimple.
Yeah.
Don't you wish you were as tough as my vagina, big boy? I mean, that thing is taking a pounding.
Yeah, we do not want to hear that, ladies. We want, even if it's true, this is a voluntary suspension of belief. We want to believe in the untrue when it comes to our women. You've never been around. You've never been around the block. For those of you that don't know how to say the words jewelry or nuclear, here's an example. Jewelry.
Jewelry.
Jewelry. It is not jewelry. It is not nuclear. W.
You are on the internet.
Yeah, that must feel good. Oh, lordy, let's see if any of you bastard asses are in chat. I think Sunnyvale Network's pissed off that I did not save the kittens. I essentially told Sunnyvale Network that the kittens, they're dinner. And that's how that goes, you know. It's funny, if you look at people that have been starving in the past, all the way up to cannibalists, what they've eaten before they got to that cannibalistic stage, shoe leather, their horses, their dogs, their cats. Amazing what people will eat to stay alive. Why do you suppose the will to live is so strong? I mean, we realize that it being strong is what led us to be here now. Or how many of our ancestors might not have made it if that will wasn't there. But why? What if it wasn't? I guess, what if it wasn't kind of clear? We wouldn't have made it. But why? I mean, how did anybody survive, I wonder? When you look back, when you think about your chances of being alive right now, and you calculate the probability from disease, and we're talking about tens of thousands of generations back, disease, that egg, that sperm, the situation which led to it, the odd things where what could have been your father, he tripped over a stone, hit his head on a rock, and died. When you think about the fact that you being here as you are right now is a 1 in a gazillion squared chance, it might make you see your life as a little bit more special, a little bit more unique, a little bit more unlikely statistically to have ever become. Oh, we're getting ready to take a break here. Big Daddy K needs a break today. And I'm going to see what we have lined up for some music. I know Bad Ace is in order. I don't want to do Falling Faces because we did that one recently. Let's do Bad Ace. Let me find something down there. Don't leave me alone. Now. See, y'all need to know some Bad Ace because if you don't, you don't know what's up. And I have a little commercial after that to tell you how to find Bad Ace as well as their drummer. And let's see. First of all, get these things lined up. I love the software, gotta say it, Radio Boss. I'm using 5.0.3.2 right now. Radio Boss, made by a Russian friend of mine who actually put in a feature that I requested. I mean, how fucking cool is that? You know, I said, when I'm doing it, I do everything on the fly. I don't rehearse anything. I said, so what I'd like if I could have it is a pre-listen, because I get so many songs and commercials and intros and these things listed in there. I need to make sure that what I'm about to play for my people isn't bullshit or the wrong thing or shitty. And I said, what would be great is while I'm talking to them before the break, I could pre-listen to make sure that the song is what I think it is, because I like to do a fairly high rotation here. And he did it. He put it in. It was in there not even a month later. I mean, the fucking thing was in there. I was like, this dude's badass. And anyway, Radio Boss is the software. If you ever want to do a radio show, get yourself some Radio Boss. Once you learn it, it's got a medium learning curve, but there are plenty of videos out there. I've made a few myself on how to use it. And I'm anything but an audio expert. I don't know radio in its traditional sense. I don't know audio at all. I just know what I've tinkered with and how I've made this work for me. And if I knew more, this show would truly sound professional. And it wouldn't sound so much like a small town guy on his back porch with no shoes on all the time. Oh, but I don't care. It's the information, man. Content is king to me. Get the information out, get the entertainment out, and don't be so worried about the technical detail. Type A people would not fare well in my universe. You would not. And so let's see, we're getting this lined up here. I like that song, but I don't want to play it. How about Be Cool? Be Cool. K-O-O. That's all right. We'll play that one after Bad Ace. And I'll tell you the artist in a minute when I feel like it. Let's see. So that's that. And this, and then this is that, but that's not the other. It's by Laswell. Lasswell. Laswell, Be Cool. That's going to play after Bad Aces, Don't Leave Me Alone. And then when we come back, we'll just get completely stupid with it. Might talk about fucktardia. Might not. Might not. Don't know. You know, it's all a mystery. It's a mystery here. Well, everybody loves a mystery. Why not leave it a mystery? Why would I want everything pre-formatted and preconceived and planned out? And you know the end before you start the beginning. Fuck that. That's boring. It's not how I'm doing my shows. No, not going to be it. Not going to do it that way. So let's see. Yeah, that looks good. This here looks good. Let me get a stop command in here. So you're going to be hearing, here in a moment, you're going to be hearing a quick intro with a quick way to find me for those of you that may have tuned in late, so you can find me in other places. And then from there, you're going to hear Bad Ace, Don't Leave Me Alone, as well as a little commercial on how to find Bad Ace, as well as their drummer who has an HVAC company out here local in Southeast Virginia. He'll give you a good deal. He does quality work. I know this man. No, I mean I know this man. Yeah, he's not a broken animal. He's just an animal, and he admits it, but he does what he says he'll do. So that'll be that, and this will be this.
Ladies and gents, thank you for checking out Truth on Tap. This is Kevin Kierstead, your host. I encourage you to interact and chat and call into the show. You can Skype in with mr.kevin.kierstead, that's K-I-E-R, stead as in steady, or call in to 910-NO-LYING. It's 910-665-9464. Truth on Tap delivers news and views with one core principle in mind, truth. This show brings that like nobody else. The real truth about news, paranormal sightings and research, politics, religion, and focuses mostly on human behavior in those areas. You can listen to shows in Spreaker, iHeartRadio, or even from the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/truthontapshow. For Spreaker, it's www.spreaker.com/user/truthontap. Or for iHeartRadio, you can go to www.iheart.com/talk/show/truth-on-tap. That's a mess. That's a lot to remember. Just Google Truth on Tap, and you'll be able to find all the ways you can listen to this wonderful show, which is wonderful because of you, the listeners and participants. Thank you again for checking out Truth on Tap.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Opening up the truth pipeline for these bitches.
Truth on Tap. Truth.
My right to say how I say it's mine to give. My heart, it's mine to share. My son's my heart.
Truth on Tap.
Right to use. Just the wish to use. And you can go to the chop it up and move to buy it. Chop it up and move to
Truth
buy
on
it.
Tap. to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Ladies and gents, if you like the music by Bad Ace, make sure to check them out on Facebook or at badace.com, just like it sounds. For those of you in Southeast Virginia, I'm going to show you how small the world can be. The drummer from Bad Ace also owns an HVAC company called Western Shore Heating and Cooling. They do the works: AC, heating, air purifying, geothermal, repairs, all of that. You can find them at westernshoreinc.com or call 804-725-8984. I've known Todd, the owner over there, forever, and he's one of those guys that everybody loves, and you'll see why when you get in touch with Todd at Western Shore.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Yeah, be cool, just move with the groove. No funk in here, the beat way too slow. Let's just do what we came to do. Just vibe with it, vibe with it, vibe with it. Be cool, just move with the groove. Let's go. No funk in here, the beat way too slow. Let's just do what we came to do. Just vibe with it, vibe with it. Yeah, be cool, just move with the groove. No funk in here, the beat way too slow. Let's just do what we came to do. Just vibe with it, vibe with it, vibe with it. Be cool, just move with the groove. Let's go. Can hear the beat way too slow. Let's just do what we came to do. Just vibe with it, vibe with it. Unleash the verbal blessing, hold it sick with verbal lessons. So kick back, chill, relax, and learn a lesson. No 9mm, no heaters, to spit the lesson. You'll find this rhyme secure without question. This time, let's vibe one time without weapons and groove with the music in the smooth session. This time, let's vibe one time without weapons and the beat to me like sap to a tree. It's in me. The rap happens to set me free instantly when the mic touch this MC. Without the mic, this MC feel empty. I'm telling y'all, it's the lyrical recipe, lyrical ecstasy. Hearing no less from me, I accept and expect no less than the best and inject intellect without disrespect. Come on, be cool, just move with the groove. No funk in here, the beat way too slow. Let's just do what we came to do. Just vibe, yeah, vibe, yeah. Be cool, just move with the groove. No funk in here, the beat way too slow. Let's just do what we came to do. Just vibe with it, vibe with it. It's like an epidemic, pop star gimmick. Get it, then realize that you in it and you're finished. Whole dream diminished. See, I play the season, y'all have a scrimmage. I spit with reason, y'all hip the image. But I believe the dream has no limits. I believe that's the whole reason we live it. But they don't get it, they like it's not right, is it? No visit, hip-hop here to stay, no shizit. We gonna get it, new improved music, move and groove with it. Choose who you get with. I smack rap back like it's new hoes. My flow hard like Dick get the skimpy clothes on individuals when anything goes. The player pick 'em like eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Got soul, got so much funk up in the rap, I should pack a fat bowl. Y'all should kick back, relax, and just roll with me, vibe with me, roll with me, vibe with me, roll with me, come on and vibe with me. Hip hop ain't dead, just keep it alive with me. Be cool, just move with the groove. No funk in here, the beat way too slow. Let's just do what we came to do, just vibe. Let's just do what we came to do, just vibe with it, vibe with it. Be cool, just move with the groove. No funk in here, the beat way too slow. Let's just do what we came to do, just vibe with it, vibe with it, vibe with it, vibe with it.
Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.